Welcome to the channel. Shocking photo of the world.
Portrait of an Inuit woman with a child. Alaska, USA, 1947. Untitled. From the series Pottery Town. Sato, Aichi, Japan, 1954. Street view in Chinatown, New York, USA, 1930s. Unloading of corn sent by foreign countries to help famine-stricken areas of India. Port of Calcutta, 1951. Toshiba's new video phone, the 500-view phone, undergoes testing at the company's Tokyo headquarters in 1968. Cuban vibe, 50s girls at the bar in Havana. Glasses in hand, laughter and cigarette smoke. It's the 50s, when Cuba was a magnet for adventure seekers. Harem guard, Tunisia. 1931. The eunuch, the entrance to the harem, is a figure shrouded in myth, castrated by custom or necessity. These men served in the palaces, guarding the women's quarters. Albert Clamo of the Ottawa Humane Society holds a lost puppy. In a few hours, the little guy will be playing with the boy he was returned to. It was a heartwarming moment. Round boats, called guffers, woven from twigs and coated with bitumen, glided along the rivers of Mesopotamia for centuries. Waterproof, durable. Survival lessons, Toronto, 1908. This old photo shows a water rescue lesson. A drowning person instinctively grabs onto anything. The stick in the instructor's hands is the first chance for salvation. Igloo in the Arctic, 1924. Inuit, yes. Eskimo is not a word in honor. Build igloos with the precision of engineers. Each snow block is part of a perfect dome. Istanbul in the haze, 1930s panorama of the city where east meets west. Minarets, bazaars, ships on the Bosphorus. The eternal Istanbul as it was almost a century ago. Karnak Temple, Egypt, 1989. A magnificent complex in Luxor dedicated to Amun-Ra. Columns carved thousands of years ago still stand, a reminder of the grandeur of ancient Thebes, weaving at the end of the world. Attu Island, 1909. A loop women gather grass for baskets on the remote island of Attu. Today, the island is deserted, but these women left their mark on history by weaving not only baskets, but also traditions. The shorts that shocked Toronto, 1937. To models from Alexandra Studios took to the streets in shorts, and the city gasped. In those puritanical times, you could get arrested for that. Audacity ahead of its time. Streets of Cavite, Philippines, 1930s. Life is in full swing. Vendors, passers-by, rickshaws. An ordinary day in colonial Asia, full of color and chaos. Bamboo and water. Philippines, 1930. Bamboo poles filled with water are ingeniously simple. In Southeast Asia, this method of delivering water has been around for centuries. Olmec Head, Mexico, 1938. A massive stone head carved by the Olmecs looks into eternity. These monuments, scattered throughout the jungle, still hold the secrets of an ancient civilization. Colossi of Memnon, Egypt, 1910. Statues of Pharaoh Amenhotep III, photographed by Richard Stewart. Once guarding the entrance to a temple, they now stand as silent witnesses to history. Kebab and cats, Istanbul, 1950. A kebab vendor is surrounded by purring guards. In Istanbul, cats are not just animals, they are part of the culture. Bedouins at the pyramids, Egypt, 1910. Roger Viollet captured the moment. Bedouins at the Great Pyramid of Giza. Sand, camels and ancient stones. Eternal Egypt. Guatemalan bananas, 1905. Plantations, where the country's economy was born. Guatemalan bananas fed the world and wrote the region's history at the same time. Camels on the beach, Palestine, 1931. Camels walk on the sand by the sea. A shot where the desert meets the waves and the past meets the present. Vietnamese refugee with children, Hue, 1968. A war-torn city, tired faces, but hope in the eyes. A shot that hits the heart. Shanghai merchant, 1938. Successful, confident, with a twinkle in his eye. Shanghai is bustling. And this guy clearly knows how to catch his luck. Chinese women at the top, 1980. Maintenance of high voltage lines at Fushun Power Station. Courage and precision in every move. This is no joke. North Korea, Sinmak, 1950. A family of migrants hides between train cars. The Incheon landing turned everything upside down. But Chinese volunteers with the support of the USSR fought back. Microsoft founders Bill Gates 13 and Paul Allen 15 operate a PDP-10 computer at the University of Washington via a teletype terminal at their school in 1968. Two ladies in bathing suits walk past the members of a beauty contest jury, disguised and therefore incorruptible. France, 1937. Robert Earl Hughes, 1926 to 1958, was an American weighing 486 kilograms, who was the heaviest man in the world during his lifetime. He remains the heaviest man in the world who can walk without assistance. The crew of the Enola Gay bomber before flying out with a gift to Hiroshima, 1945. American grandmother Bobby Fischer plays on 50 boards simultaneously on April 12, 1964. The result is only one loss and 2 draws. Seiji Karata, Yakuza member, 1970s. Anna Nicole Smith is a sultry, irresistible and feminine icon of the 90s. A girl who survives several years in a concentration camp, draws a house on a blackboard with chalk. Poland, 1948. -1-year-old Samuel Reshevsky defeats several recognized chess masters. Paris, 1920. Margaret Gibb kissed by her fiancé, while her conjoined sister Mary looks on. California, 1940s. In 1929, Margaret Gibb, one of the conjoined twins, became engaged to Carlos Daniel Joseph, a gentleman from Mexico City, whom she met while performing in New Orleans. Leonardo DiCaprio and his Russian grandmother from permed Helen Indenbuchen ne Elena Smirnova. On June 3, 1968, Andy Warhol was the victim of an assassination attempt. Radical feminist Valerie Solanas shot the artist 3 times in the stomach. The bullets hit his lungs, esophagus, spleen, liver, and stomach. Warhol experienced clinical death. Winnie the Pooh and his friends, which A.T. Milne gave to his son Christopher between 1920 and 1922. The very first motorcycle in the world. The motorcycle and the car have a common parent, Gottlieb Daimler. It was he who, in 1885, built the first prototype of this iconic vehicle, Wright Wagon, a motorcycle based on a wooden frame and an internal combustion engine. One of the bodyguards of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi. Libya, 1983. The first female hairdresser in New York. Before that, hairdressers were exclusively men. 1927. Aftermath of the Jaguar plant fire. 1957. On the 12th of February 1957, a major fire broke out at the Jaguar plant on Browns Lane, destroying a significant portion of the production facilities. Naples, Italy, 1960. A real woman will always support you in difficult times and cover you in any situation. Miners shower after a shift in a coal mine. Britain, 1940. Flooding in Limburg due to high water levels of the Maas River. Netherlands, 1970. Flooding in the Netherlands is a historically significant and regularly recurring phenomenon due to the country's geographical location. A couple ride a pulley at Hampstead Heath Fair, London, England, 1922. Climbing Mount Pirin, Bulgaria, 1971. Mount Pirin is one of the most picturesque and significant mountain ranges in Bulgaria, located in the southwest of the country. A nanny bathes a child in the nursery of the Les Galeries Lafayette department store. Paris, 1929. Les Galeries Lafayette is a legendary department store in Paris, France, that has become a symbol of luxury, fashion and fine shopping. 2 girls enjoying ice cream while riding donkeys on the sands of Blackpool, 1937. The 1930s saw a significant shift towards more practical and revealing swimwear. During this period, some designs began to include separate tops and bottoms, although they were still quite modest. Congo, 1950s, Children and a Birdcage. Sydney, 1908, Airship over Tamarama. Jerusalem, 1921, Snow Apocalypse. Iran, 1950s, Shepherds in woolen capes. Iranian shepherds, swathed in traditional wool cloaks, look like epic heroes. The color shot highlights the texture of their clothing and the stark beauty of the landscape. Lhasa, 1955, Tibetan greeting. A Tibetan in Lhasa greets a photographer with his tongue out. No, he's not teasing. It's an ancient tradition to show he's not a demon. They say their tongues are green. Vancouver, 1905, Joe Fortes, hero of the beach. Standing on English Bay Beach is Joe Fortes, Vancouver's first official lifeguard. This tough guy saved 29 people. Palmyra, 1959, Soviet geologists in the desert. Soviet geologists pose against the backdrop of the ruins of ancient Palmyra. Australia, 1902, Aborigines in chains. Wyndham Jail, chains on the wrists of Aborigines, a difficult shot of the colonial era. Vancouver, 1971, Weed Riot, Canadians protest marijuana ban on the streets of Vancouver. Egypt, 1960s, Abu Simbel Temple, Keys Shearer captured the majestic rock temple of Abu Simbel. Istanbul, 1958, City of Contrasts, A. Regula, master of Turkish photography, shows Istanbul in all its vibrant bustle. Canada, 1929, The Sleeping Car of Dreams, the Pullman Palace Car Company's first-class car is luxury on rails. The seats convert into beds. The overhead locker is a berth. Tehran, 1960, the Shah's Leopard Warriors, Iran's Shah Mohammed, Reza Pahlavi's elite guards sport leopard skin uniforms. Beginning of the 20th century. Family portrait, old family photo in color, like a time machine. Niagara, 1903, Ice Falls, frozen Niagara Falls, is a breathtaking sight. Havana, 1933, a coal miner with a story. The portrait of a coal miner from Havana is the face of a man who knows the value of hard work. New Zealand, 1910, Butcher's Shop, David Taylor's Butcher's Shop in Wellington, like a movie set. Arabian Sea, 1933, Manta Ray, fishermen off the coast of Karachi pulled out a manta ray, a giant ray up to 9 meters wide and weighing up to 3 tons. Canada, 1921, Inuk wearing snow goggles. Inuk Caribou from Arviat wearing traditional winter goggles made of bone and antler. Mexico, 1943, birth of a volcano. Paracutin volcano was born right in a cornfield in 1943. Young Tajik woman playing the dutar, 1899. David Bowie, 1970s. Passenger tampers on the Japanese subway, 1966. Marilyn Monroe in early childhood. An unknown woman prevents Picasso and Cocteau from enjoying a bullfight, France, 1956. A war veteran sells matches on the street, England, 1930s. Police officers calm a Beatles fan during a concert in New York City. August 23, 1966. 2 girls doing laundry on a London street, 1900s. What the ideal woman looked like in 1938. The 20-year-old model June Cox was captured as the ideal, height about 168 centimeters, weight 56 kilograms. Thermicon is a hair dryer from the late 19th century. England, 1880s. Boiling water was poured into containers attached to wooden handles, and then the hair dryer was moved through the hair, thereby drying the strands. Steve Jobs in his apartment in Woodside, California, December 15, 1982. Tattooed lady at the 1939 New York World's Fair. Osama bin Laden far right, Oxford, 1971. Paulmobile in New York, 1960. Pan American airline cabin, 1940s. A German businessman and his secretary work in a swimming pool during a heat wave, Berlin, Germany, 1926. Opening of the Eiffel Tower, 1889. Robert Wadlow, the tallest recorded man in history to 0.7 meters, with his family in 1935. Victorian couple on a tandem bicycle, 1890s. Models taking a smoke break, Italy, 1950. Little Queen Elizabeth II with her corgis. One of the oldest photo portraits, taken in the 1840 to 1850s. An 8-year-old boy works on a farm, Western Massachusetts, 1915. A shoemaker's lunch, 1944. This kind shoemaker doesn't ask for much. A couple of fruits, a piece of bread and some cheese. And he is already grateful to the world. Children at a dump, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 1912. These children are not out for a walk or playing. They are at a dump, looking for anything they can use or sell. Gramercy Park, New York, 1959. A female bootlegger caught selling illegal alcohol during Prohibition in the United States. Minneapolis, 1924. A woman with 2 children buys balloons from a cellar. USA, 1919. Celeste Radin in the transparent rowboat Lucite at the New York Invention Exhibition. The boat can withstand harsh conditions and carry 5 people. 1941. Goats in a harness in National Park, New York, 1904. A huge dust storm in Boise City, Oklahoma, 1935. This day was nicknamed Black Sunday. It was the blow of nature that farmers faced in 1935. A photographer takes pictures of New York City from 18 stories above the Fifth Avenue sidewalk, 1906. A bodybuilder with his son in Muscle Beach, California, 1949. Gene Jansen was born in 1916 in Bartlesloe, Illinois. Fishermen haul in their nets on the Sausalito waterfront, San Francisco, 1950s. Farmer Joe Kramer's family, near Williston, USA, 1937. Jeans weren't always a fashion trend. They were once just work clothes, hardy and reliable. A Nez Perce warrior in loincloth and moccasins on horseback, USA, 1907. In 1877, the US government ordered the Nez Perce tribe to move to a reservation. A group of musicians on a rocky riverbank with a waterfall in the background at the first Virginia Music Festival, 1931. Girl on the beach in Santa Monica, California, 1940. Paris Opera, 1950s. The grace of a ballerina backstage is like a frozen dance of time. The elegance and sophistication of Paris in one movement. Paris, 1950. A garbage truck rolls along cobbled streets. Ordinary, but in it is the soul of a city where even routine looks like a scene from an old film. Switzerland, 1917. Mother and daughter in the mountains. Simple joy, fresh air and the endless Alps, a moment full of warmth and freedom. Paris, 1922. Street bustle, fashion and charm. The city of love in the lens is like a postcard you want to keep forever. Norway, 1963. A girl looks at frozen laundry on her clothesline. Winter cold and childish curiosity, a frame full of naive poetry. Germany, 1945. A child cries while being treated for lice with DDT powder. At that time, they didn't know about its harm, but the product saved from epidemics. Somewhere in Europe, 1949. A summer shower is a carefree moment when water washes away all worries. Summer, freedom, life. Switzerland, 1903. Mountaineers conquer the Jungfrau. Courage and triumph against the backdrop of snow-capped peaks is a true ode to the human spirit. Italy, 1940s. A wedding is in full swing. The older generation is beaming with happiness, and the mother is holding her son tightly. so that he does not do anything wrong. Family, traditions and genuine emotions. Greece, 1903. Shepherds on the top of Parnassus. A frame as if torn from an epic saga. Majestic nature and people living in harmony with it.